Hello people, I'm the comic book gamer, and today I'm pitting Deadpool vs Deathstroke, the Merc with the mouth, versus the Terminator. So yeah, as always, I'm going to start off with their origins, and let's start off with Deadpool's origin. So yeah, Deadpool didn't exactly have the best upbringing, but he joined the military for a short period of time and then got kicked out and like pretty much went across the country and stuff, and he got various military training, but yeah, he got kicked out for bad behavior. Later on, he was diagnosed with cancer and yeah, got kind of freaked out by that, but was offered a cure if he were to participate in the Weapon X program. They're trying to recreate Wolverine's healing factor for a human, just to put it into a human, but the experiment accelerated his cancer and drove it all over his body and drove him completely nuts, so crazy. So the government said he was a failed experiment and sent him to a prison for other failures like him. The prison took bets and a Deadpool on which of them would get killed next by the warden. Deadpool was selected because he killed his friend Worm, which had been, he had just had an lobotomy, so he did it out of kindness, just to end his friend's memory. They tried to kill Wade for doing that, but he almost died, but his healing factor finally kicked in, and then he escaped and killed everyone. But yeah, he escaped, and since he was crazy and couldn't really do anything else, he decided to become a mercenary. And yeah. Also, because he's a complete rip of Deathstroke, and Marvel acknowledges that and everything, that's why they call him Wade Wilson. But yeah, that is how Deadpool became Deadpool. Now for Deathstroke's origin, that's a little longer, a little more complex, because the origins just till they become who they are today. So Deathstroke, Slade, and a group of others were sent to this top-secret military base that was unheard of to be trained. It was clear that Slade was far above the others in the group, so he got special training, and that was where he met his wife. They fell in love and got married, but they didn't have much of a honeymoon because Slade was assigned to Vietnam. His wife would have been there also, but their son Grant was born the same night Slade landed in Vietnam. Later, Slade volunteered for a medical experiment for resisting truth serums. Slade did this because he did whatever the army told him. The army was his life. But as a result, his body went into shock. His body went into complete shock. He was sedated and was like this for a week. The doctor said he would be unable to walk, but they were wrong. Instead, everything of Slade was improved. His coordination, speed, reflexes, strength. This is what gave him the whole. He can use 90% of his brain now, and that's why he's so smart and the best strategist. He reapplied for active duty, but the army said no. His condition was off and on. His wife said it was off and on. One day he would be superhuman, the next almost comatose. Not much later, his wife became pregnant again, another son. He was born a week before Slade found out his military buddy and best friend Billy Wintergreen was captured. Slade begged to go and save him, but the military would not let him. Slade commandeered a plane, and long story short, saved Wintergreen. Since he couldn't join the military, Slade went to Africa and became a world-renowned hunter. Well, he didn't live in Africa. He would go at weeks at a time from his family and hunted and that's how he became really rich. Well, his wife had inherited a family fortune. And so, yeah, that plus him being a world-renowned hunter and made them tons of money. So they were really rich. And then Slade and his family, the Wilson family, had become known for throwing parties. So, yeah, they were hostesses. There, Slade would take clients into a room unknown to his wife, of course, and talk to them about contracts, but his wife just thought they talked about hunting for hours. But one night, while Slade was gone, a bunch of men broke into his house and captured his son, Joey. Slade had killed they wanted Slade, because Slade had killed a friend of theirs, and they wanted to know who had hired Slade to do it. Of course, Deathstroke, his word is his bond, he wasn't going to rat out who hired him. So, they put a knife up to his son's throat. When they captured him, they're like, meet us here, here, and here. And so, when they met him there, they had a knife up to his son's throat and said, yeah, we want to know who hired you, because you killed a buddy of ours. And, like I said, Deathstroke being Deathstroke, his word is his bond. He's like, no. And so he killed everyone, but not before they did start slicing his son's throat. So his son became a mute, and later on when they went home, Adeline realized how Deathstroke was and saw that her kids weren't really safe with him, so she tried to kill him, but Deathstroke's reflexes, from behind and everything, and he didn't realize till the last seconds, saved him from getting killed, and she only shot his eye out. And that was pretty much the birth of Deathstroke, is when he gets his eye shot out. So yeah, that's Deathstroke's origin. Now it is the segment for training and the arsenal and powers. So yeah, let's start with Deadpool. Deadpool has an extreme healing factor. Like his head has been blown up, and he regenerated it back. It's been cut off, but it has to be reattached in order for it to heal. He has enhanced speed, agility, stamina, reflexes, athleticism, pretty much everything except strength. They used to have at the beginning, but then they haven't really showed anything since then. I still say he has like enhanced strength over human, just not by a whole lot. For arsenal, he generally carries 2 swords, 2 pistols, and some type of automatic weapon, whether it be like an SMG or an assault rifle. He always has some type of automatic weapon. And he also has a device that lets him teleport. And as far as training goes, he has various military training, and that's about it. But he pretty much took all that and then made his own martial art and just became crazy with it. And yeah, it's just Deadpool's own fighting style, and he's known as like one of the best martial artists in the Marvel Universe. Now for Deathstroke, Deathstroke has a healing factor, not near as good as Deadpool's, but I'll get into that in a bit. Enhanced speed, strength, agility, stamina, all that stuff. He can use 90% of his brain, so yeah, he's the best strategist in the DC universe. Yeah, he's a master strategist. He generally has a pistol or 2. He always has 1 sword and a staff. And he generally has some type of automatic weapon also. Just yeah, these characters tend to, even if you just look at like a picture of them, they don't, but they'll just pull out an automatic weapon like out of their butt, both of them. So yeah, that's for arsenal. Now for training, he has various military training, like really high up military training, and he also got trained by Natas, who is a deadly assassin that Green Arrow later on hires to train him after Green Arrow has already gotten, you know, all his training, like later on in Green Arrow years, because Green Arrow wants to become better and he knows Deathstroke's the best, so he hires Natas to, if I'm even saying it right, Natas to train him also. So who has the edge here? This is hard because Deathstroke is stronger, but Deadpool's healing factor is way better. Deathstroke's healing factor has shown him healing from like getting cut by a laser, and then it just starts healing. He's been tried to get Cheshire has implanted something in him that would hurt him and kill him if he didn't listen to her, and his healing factor adjusted that so she couldn't. But it's not near as strong as Deadpool's, but still good. Speed, I would have to give it to Deathstroke, because Deadpool said that that he was like so astounded when he fought Spider-Man and how fast Spider-Man was. When I read the comics, it seems to me more like Deathstroke would be on like the same level as Spider-Man for speed, so I'd have to give it to Deathstroke for speed and for strength, because we've seen him like rip down steel doors and stuff. And they haven't really shown anything for strength for Deadpool lately, like in the past like 10 years as in lately. 90% of his brain, Deadpool doesn't have that, but yeah, his healing factor is amazing. Arsenal, they can both do really good with both. That's pretty much a tie. Training, I'd have to give Deathstroke the edge there. But overall, because of Deadpool's extreme healing factor, that's also what gave him like the enhanced speed and everything. His healing factor like enhanced everything else about him. I'd have to give this a draw, mainly because of Deadpool's huge healing factor and how much of an advantage that is. But since Deathstroke has all that stuff, like 90% of his brain can compensate, I'd have to give this part a tie. I don't see either of them really having an edge here. Now it's time for feats for both these characters. I'm not going to name everything they've done, because otherwise I'd be here all day. But yeah, let's start off with Deathstroke this time. Deathstroke has taken out the Justice League in an identity crisis. Well, not the whole Justice League, but a big part of them. You've probably heard it a million times, but yeah, and he's also taken out Batman multiple times. He's taken out different Flashes multiple times, including shooting Bart Allen in the knees. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. As far as healing factor goes, the most impressive one was when he got shot in the head point blank and then came back hours later. So yeah, his healing factor is really good, and some people like mislead it and say, you know, it sucks. Now for Deadpool, Deadpool has taken out Crossbones, like beat the living crap out of Crossbones. He's he took out the this was really impressive. He took out the scroll of like a big part of the scrolls, like almost all the super scrolls, or was it all the super scrolls? I don't remember. Either way, he took out a lot of super scrolls, but just by outsmarting them and having them kill each other, because he was captured by the scrolls, and then he outsmarted them and had them kill each other. Healing factor, like I said before, he's had his head blown off. Well, not blown off, but blown up. As long as there's a tiny shred, it can grow back. If his head's cut off, it has to be reattached, though. He's had limbs just cut off and they grow back. Yeah, there's like not much his healing factor can't do. Yeah, that's it for the feats. 2 scenarios for this one. So yeah, normally I do 3 scenarios, but for these characters, I decided to only do 2 scenarios. So scenario 1 is Deathstroke is going after Deadpool, and he has to get captured because Deadpool can't die because Marvel had Thanos curse him to where he literally can't die. He can die for like a limited period of time and then come straight back to life later on. So yeah, this scenario, they both have prep. Deadpool knows Deathstroke's coming after him, and Deathstroke is going after Deadpool, and yeah, so they both had prep. For this one, I would have to give it to Deathstroke because a bunch of people think that he relies on knowing the opponent's abilities, and Deadpool doesn't even know what he's gonna do, so no one knows what he's gonna do, but he doesn't, and especially with prep, he would realize that, and he would just be like, okay, I know I can't predict what this guy's gonna do, so he would do other things, like when he fights Dick Grayson, he talks. When he fights other people, he generally doesn't talk, but when he fights Dick Grayson, he talks a lot because he realizes it distracts him and it gets him chatty, because Nightwing is like Spider-Man. He's one of those people that makes quips while he fights, and he realizes he can get him off his game and distract him by doing that. And I think he would do the same thing with Deadpool. He'd have a field day with Deadpool. He'd get Deadpool so distracted, then I think that he would, he would end up doing that and end up either slicing his head off and taking it, because remember, it has to be reunited with his body in order to heal, or he could do like Punisher did, where Punisher sliced off like almost all his limbs and was gonna slice his head off also, then but Daredevil saved him. So yeah, he could definitely be beat by Deathstroke. I'd have to give the planning to Deathstroke. Also, he doesn't even have to cut off all his limbs. He could do like Cable did, how Cable got him tranked and then just because the tranquilizer lasted for like 3 minutes, and then Cable just duct taped him, and he literally couldn't get out until Cable cut him out. And so yeah, you don't have to just cut off all his limbs. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as just cutting off all his limbs. You could just trank him and then duct tape him. Now it is time for scenario number 2. This is they just met and they don't like each other, so they're gonna try and kill each other. They know nothing about the other. They just met, like never heard each other before. This one is going to be hard to decide because it depends if Deadpool tries or not. If Deadpool tries, I think he would end up killing Deathstroke because Deathstroke knows nothing about him. But if not, then because Deadpool likes to play around and mess with his opponent. If he does that, then Deathstroke will win. This scenario is hard to do, like very hard to do, because it. Like I said, I can't decide which one to me would win. So this one's gonna have to be a tie, and since Deathstroke won the first scenario, I'm gonna have to say Deathstroke wins this overall. I know some people might be calling bullcrap on this, but look at the comics. Deadpool has lost to Moon Knight. Do you think Deathstroke would lose to Moon Knight? And like he's been beaten by Punisher and other things. Like I said, also that's another comparison I have to say. This is the only comparison that we can really like legitimately do. Is Deathstroke has beaten the crap out of Batman, Punisher has beaten the crap out of Deadpool. Well, they had a crossover between Batman and Punisher, and Batman ended up beating the crap out of Punisher. So that's like the only really comparison I can actually legitimately do. The others are just, pure speculation. But yeah, so that's what I think. What do you think? Who do you think will win? Put it down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and tell me what battle you want me to do next.